Alright, welcome to my video today. This particular video is going to be about a post I saw an individual making pertaining to the national anthem and its being racist. You see a lot of videos on YouTube, the whole dear white people thing that's going around. Um, Kind of what this person was doing, but there was a certain comment within it that I wanted to kind of zero in on because I found it kind of interesting the claim this individual made that the national anthem is racist and or has a racist background to it and therefore isn't worth standing up for. So I found it interesting, kind of looked into it, and looked through this individual profile a little bit more and found something kind of interesting and decided to do a comparison between the two. And so anyway, I thought I would do a video on that today. Potentially also might be doing at the end revealing the gender of my wife's child that's due in January. We currently have two children, Josiah, who just turned 1 this month, and Joel, who will be turning 2 years old next month. So I'm very excited about our third child coming. So this here is the message here. If you want to read the whole thing, you can feel free to pause it, or I might actually have it up long enough for people to read the whole thing, just in how I'm talking. But what I really wanted to zero in here was right here. So no, I don't stand for the national anthem. At the time it was written, my people were not free and were punished if they were brave. Understand that this song was not written for my people, but in spite of my people. So that's what this individual claims about the national anthem there. And as you can see, the post is a lot longer than that 2 sentences or 3 sentences. But that was what I really wanted to zero in on. First off, some things here. What we call the national anthem, or Star Spangled Banner, was written in 1814. It was declared the national anthem by an executive order in 1916, which was signed by Woodrow Wilson. But it was not officially recognized as our national anthem until it was approved by Congress in 1931. It went through 40 failed attempts to be made our national anthem before it actually took place. At the time that the national anthem was officially recognized or even penned, there were African Americans serving in the United States Armed Forces, and at the time it was penned, they were serving in a manner that was not segregated. And at the time that it was officially recognized by Congress, it had already been illegal in the armed forces for quite a few years to segregate individuals by color. So you kind of see, I'm not saying there wasn't racism back then, or that there weren't some unfair elements going on, whether in the military or outside. But they did, African Americans had the freedom to serve in the armed forces, and we went on to segregate them at the time that it was penned, or at the time that it was officially recognized. Now, that isn't true for most of the history in between those 2 points in time, but at the time it was penned and at the time it was officially recognized, that is actually true. So when she says that, at the time it was written, she says, my people were not free. And this is kind of difficult because, at the time it was written, yes, there was slavery. But there were also a lot of, individuals of color who were free in this country. There were also a lot of whites who were slaves. Slavery wasn't limited to just individuals who were from Africa and brought over. There were Asians who were slaves, whites who were slaves, there were African American slaves. There were slave holders who were African American. So, yes, the vast majority of slaves were African American, and it is very unfortunate that slavery is a part of our history, as it is for many countries, and slavery is still legal in many countries to this day. As far as the free nations go, we were one of the last countries to legalize slavery, unfortunately. But at the time that it was written, um, her to say that her people were not free isn't entirely true. They did become the symbol of slavery, but they weren't the sole slaves. African Americans could be free. Unfortunately, the difference between a freed white person and a freed individual of color was the ability to vote, hold public office, and such things. And it is a shame that even a free person who wasn't white couldn't have all the equal rights. So, in a sense, while they could be free, they couldn't be 100% equal in legal matters, and that is a shame. Uh, but when we look at the national anthem is uh, was written during a battle. It was written about the battle, and at that time in the armed forces, they were serving, they were allowed to serve, and they were not segregated. And at the time that this war song was officially recognized, they were not segregated and they were allowed to serve. On the other hand, I also saw this post by her, and this is where the curiosity hit me. I get curious about things when I see two different things that I'm not really sure about. Someone opposes something for one reason, but they support something else that I know has a history of that other reason. I get curious. How do they compare? So she's opposes the standing for national anthem because it's racist. Basically, her people weren't free at the time, but here she is supporting the Green Bay Packers. So I got curious about the Green Bay Packers. This is not a evaluation of the NFL as a whole, but this particular team. And this is not an anti-Packers thing. If you're vote for the Packers, I oppose you not because of this, but because I'm a Steelers fan. Um, but there's nothing wrong with rooting for the team. It's all in fun to oppose one another's teams. If it was wrong to oppose each other's teams, then it would take all the fun out of the sport that's all about competition. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with Packers fans or Redskins fans, Browns fans, or whatever fans. There's a serious issue with Patriots fans, obviously, but I won't discuss that in this video. But seriously, I mean, as a Steelers fan, I'm just pro Steelers. And who knows, maybe I'll look up what the Steelers' history is on this at some point. The only reason I'm zeroing in on the Packers is because she's zeroing in on the Packers as being a Packers fan, while opposing our national anthem as basically being racist. So the Green Bay Packers were founded in 1919, but they did not allow any African American players until 1950. This means that basically for 31 years after they were founded, they were not allowing African Americans to play on their team as players. Um, in fact, by the time they allowed their first African American player, the armed forces had already been unsegregated for 2 years, and African Americans had been allowed to serve in the armed forces for many years. So the Green Bay Packers were, behind the trend of showing equality. Our government was showing it first. Um, so, while the national anthem was written at a time when the military is unsegregated and African Americans are allowed to serve, the Green Bay Packers form and do not allow them in as players. And when the national anthem is becomes officially recognized as the national anthem, our armed forces are unsegregated according to the executive order, and they're allowed to serve. And yet, this particular team for 2 more years still wouldn't let their players serve, let African Americans be a player in their team. So, she wants to call the national anthem racist. despite the fact that it's a military song. Basically, it's written during a battle, about the battle, and the military was not segregated at that time, nor at the time that it was officially recognized. And yet she's supporting a team that for 31 years would have not allowed her brother, her dad, her son, her uncle, her nephew, her husband, boyfriend, fiance, would not have allowed them to serve as players. But the military at that time would have allowed them to serve in the forces and would not have segregated them. So it's kind of hypocritical that she's sitting here, she's willing to stand for the Packers, but she won't stand for the anthem. She's willing to stand for this one organization, clearly racist, at a time when the country was already doing away with segregation. They were still not letting these individuals in. People shouldn't be judged based off of appearance. If you're a great player, you're a great player. It doesn't matter what your religion is, or your beliefs are, your politics, the skin of your color, the color of your skin. None of that matters. When you're looking at a sport, the only thing that matters is that sport. And when you're looking at politics, the only thing that matters is a person's political beliefs and religious beliefs. Their appearance doesn't matter. Their favorite football team doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's good at throwing a football. All that matters is what kind of things is he going to advance in politics. Just like with a player, how many yards is he going to advance? These are things that are important. It's kind of silly that this individual is willing to stand for a team that would not accept anyone of her race, despite the fact that they had been dying for this country and its freedoms for many years, but still weren't being allowed to play on this team. But she's going to reject an anthem that would have allowed her family to serve and serve equally for their country. It's very silly to me how she could support one racist organization over a document or a song that was written at a time where, yes, there was racism. Yes, there was an institution that shouldn't have existed. But it wasn't the way that she's representing it as. And it certainly wasn't as bad as what the Green Bay Packers were having it. Because if it was as bad as what the Green Bay Packers were having it, then her family would have been allowed to serve in the military. And not that they would have been segregated, they just wouldn't have been allowed to serve. So isn't that much worse? That you don't have the right to be in the military? That you don't have the right to own slaves? To be a landowner? I mean, a lot of African Americans were free and owned land and had slaves. In fact, the largest slaveholder was actually an African American. The man who had the most slaves was an African American. And this is easy to look up. I mean, you can just Google this stuff and find historical documents, and historians even agree on these facts, even though they try to ignore them. But these are absolute facts. So I just want to be clear to Green Bay Packers fans out there. This is not anti-Green Bay Packers. This is just about somebody who opposed one thing for a racist reason, but then supported something else that, in its origins, were more racist. And the Green Bay Packers was one of the last 3 or 4 teams to allow an African American player in their team. This means that out of all the NFL teams, Green Bay Packers were one of the 3 or 4 most racist, as far as when it comes to allowing individuals of color to join them. And I don't know where the Steelers or any other specific team lines I found that, because the only reason I bothered to look into this was just, I know the NFL didn't allow African Americans in from the beginning. And so I got curious, which one is more racist in its origin? Because she's supporting one and opposing the other. And it's not about the Green Bay Packers. It really isn't. This video isn't. It's merely about the hypocrisy. So I just want to make that clear to Green Bay Packers fans out there. I want to make that clear to the NFL. This isn't anti-NFL. You know, a lot of organizations, a lot of businesses, a lot of institutions that are still around today have this history to them, and it's a shame. But it is what it is, and you can't reject one thing because of an origin that you perceive to exist, but support something else that has an origin that's even worse. So that's just kind of what this video was about. Um, so that said, I know a lot of people are curious as to the gender of the baby. Just want to say our son desired to enjoy his first year birthday. We tried to make it as good as we could for him with our limited budget at the moment. My wife's parents came, my family came. Everyone had a great time. At 1 year old, he doesn't really pay too much attention to a lot of toys and stuff. He's more into boxes and crinkly plastic bags and stuff. But he really seemed to like a lot of the gifts he got. My 2-year-old Joel was a lot more interested in the toys. But the two of them have been playing with the toys together over the past couple days and interacting really well. But we did do a gender reveal cake that my sister-in-law made. She did a great job with the cake. Tastes great, looked great. And it was a wonderful time. So anyways, we cut into the cake, took the slice, looked at the color, and we will be having our first daughter. And we've already got a name picked out for her. It is Shiloh Diane Single. We are very excited to meet her when she is born and to watch her as she grows up. And just like with our boys, as we try to instill them with the right principles and morals, we will try to do the same with her. And just as excited to see the lady that she grows up to be as we are to see the gentleman that our sons grow up to be. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, if you're excited by the finding out the gender of our third child, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's very important to get subscribers, very important to get likes, very important to have the video shared. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this and would love to see that displayed through some likes, shares, and subscribers. Comments are also very important. If you agree with the lady, disagree with me, go ahead. If you hate me for bringing up the Green Bay Packers, go ahead. If you're a Patriots fan, I don't know, I'm sure there's another channel for you somewhere there. I'm just playing with you. But, just go ahead and post, tell me your favorite team, tell me who you agree with on this topic. Congratulate me on our third child if you want. But try using the comments on the video, because it's very good when people open up a video and see that there's comments on it. Some people won't watch a video that doesn't have comments. I rarely ever do. If I find a video that I'm interested in that has no comments, I'll usually just save it, go back to it a month later. If it still has no comments, I don't bother watching it. Some people don't even do that. Typically assume if the video has no comments, it wasn't worth commenting on, probably wasn't worth watching. So a lot of people are like that. So comments are very important. So if you guys want to leave some comments right on the video itself, that'd be great. If you want to check out my Facebook page or our channel's Facebook page, that's in the description. Twitter is in the description. A lot of things are. So hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys have a wonderful day.